Hello, this is Senior Moments. I'm your host, Brigitte Maassen. Spring is here, so get outside and enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells of the season. But when you come home, take a rest and watch Senior Moments. Senior Moments covers events and activities at senior centers in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti area, such as the Ann Arbor Senior Center, Turner Senior Research Center, the Pittsfield Senior Center, and the Ann Arbor Community Center. Also, the show provides valuable information for senior citizens on such issues as health, wealth, finance, and entertainment. Senior Moments is a monthly show. It premieres at the last Sunday of the month at 5 p.m. and it reruns 10 times a week on CTN Channel 16. Please check out our website, a2gov.org/CTN, for the playback schedule. Also, you can watch the show on YouTube. Please go on to youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to view current and archived shows. Did you know in France, April Fool is called April Fish? So be careful not to be tricked by anything fishy.
Hi, I'm Mitch with CTN. Did you know CTN is available on both Android and iOS platforms for free?
That's right. You can find us on the Cablecast app. Just look up CTN and all your favorite local programs are right at your fingertips. But that's not all. CTN is also on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. If this is for you, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Then navigate to the About tab for instructions on how to set it up on your device. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can watch our live meetings and all of our CTN-produced programs at youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor. So come watch CTN, where we aim to connect, create, and communicate.
Welcome to Senior Moments. I'm your host, Brigitte Maassen. What are the most recent technology devices you have used lately? Emails, CDs, well, I have got to say those are already obsolete. Your family might give you the recent version of an iPhone for your birthday gift, but how much of its functions can you use? Today's guest is, in fact, a personal friend of mine, James Giodani, and will help you learn how to use new devices and talk about how to solve any problems for using them. Thank you for coming to the show today, James.
Thank you.
And I know we know each other and your family, but usually people who watch Senior Moments like to know something about the guest. So where have you lived, where were you born, and so on. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I was born in Ann Arbor. I grew up here. And then for college, I ran off to Florida and enjoyed the weather there. And then I bounced around a little bit, lived in Vermont and Chicago. And I came back here about 5 years ago.
Wonderful. And I know, because I got some information about you, you started a company which helps people with electronic or technology devices, and then I think you sold it, but you're still involved with the company. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I started, when I first came back to Ann Arbor, I was working at a little computer repair shop, and folks would come in with pretty impactful problems. Like they just got a new computer, but they couldn't check their email. I remember one guy who came in and he said to me, I've been working in construction for 25 years. I've never touched a computer in my life, and now to keep my license, I have to do this online course. Can you help me? So even though they seemed like small tasks, helping someone get in their email, but that's how they communicated with their loved ones and kept their life organized. And this guy's livelihood was depending on his ability to use a computer. So I started giving private tech lessons. From there, it kind of grew, and I saw there was a need for it. So I ended up getting my master's in social work, and my focus was on older adult tech literacy and looking at ways that we can use computers and phones to help people live a better life and stay independent for longer. And then I founded my company, Clear Computing, in 2019, and it did really well. And then this year, in actually November 2024, I was acquired by Askevin. We kind of share the same vision, so it just made sense to team up together. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm their Director of Development.
Wonderful. Well, also, because I have some notes, so I won't forget, certain things not to ask you, but also, you also teach seniors. And you teach them, where do you teach them?
All over the place. We do a lot of classes and workshops at the Ann Arbor Senior Center, Turner Senior Center, Saline Area Resource Center. We're all over the place. And then we do a lot of one-on-one work in people's homes. We'll have them write out a list of their tech questions, frustrations, things they'd like to learn, and then we'll send out an Ask Kevin Tech Coach and work through that list point by point.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So basically, they hire you then all this, because I first thought when I've heard, you were at the senior center, and I think you're giving a class, or did you do it already?
Yeah, we're in the middle. We have a smartphone 101, 201, and 301 series that we're in the middle of at the Turner Senior Center. Okay. And I also give monthly tech talks at the Ann Arbor Senior Center as well. And those are on different subjects like hacks and scams, or personal privacy, online privacy, and other subjects that seniors would be interested in.
I know because, seniors are targets for fraud. And I think, so it's very helpful. So do you have some example or some ideas, where we could watch or be alert or aware of if it is a fraud?
Yes, the most important thing to know or to do. When I first started talking about cybersecurity, I would have like a list of things to look out for in emails, or making sure you're on the right website. And that just became too much and too complicated and too much to ask of people. So now I have a patented tacky rhyme, and it's, if something's out of the blue and they're rushing you, it's probably untrue. So it could be a phone call, an email, a text message, just a message on your computer, anything at all. If it's out of the blue, you're not expecting it, and there's an element of rushing, right? If you don't pay this money, you're going to lose access to your photos, or it's your grandson, and if you don't send $1,000, I'm going to be locked up in Mexico. If it's ever out of the blue and they're rushing you, it's probably untrue. And the most important thing to do is just talk to someone else. Scams are pretty obvious if you're talking about them or looking at them, and it's the middle of the day, or you're with your friends and you're having a conversation. Everything seems really obvious. But if it's late at night and it's dark and you see an email with a scary message in it, it can kind of get your wheels spinning and get you to not think clearly. And the urge will be to pick up the phone and dial the number on the email, or to think that it's an emergency and you need to reach out and rescue your grandson in Mexico. But really, the important thing to do would be to talk to someone else, whether it's a family member, a friend, that tech-savvy son or grandchild or daughter, whatever the best thing you can do is just talk to someone else.
Yeah, because I do also get this quite frequently and get emails, but since I have a son, well, maybe not, well, similar to you, but immediately, whatever I get, I right away contact him, and he always says like, Mom, it's a fraud. So I'm very much, and I have gotten calls like, hi, Grandma, and I always say like, well, I'm so sorry, you must have the wrong number. I don't have a grandchild, which, so they immediately hang up, which is not true, So I know because, but anyway, so I'm so glad because I find this so often, I hear so often when I listen to NPR or some radios, how people are being, skimmed and lose money. And I don't know, I would never say like, it can never happen to me, but very unlikely because I'm very cautious about things.
Yes, one thing to remember is that these operations, scammers are no longer the lone wolf in the parking lot trying to rip you off for $20. These are sophisticated, organized crime. They have scripts that they practice hundreds of times a day. This is their 9-to-5 job. So their businesses are really refined and efficient. So you're very lucky that you're able to reach out to your son and ask for help. And that's what I highly recommend anyone does. If I always say in my classes and the people I work with, if you're ever unsure, go ahead and forward on that email to me, or call me and ask, and I'm always happy to take a look and give people my second opinion. Oftentimes I'll take the good ones, the really deceptive ones, and work them into my talks.
No, it was very interesting because I knew I would be interviewing you today, and we would be talking about it. And yesterday on NPR was a special program. Did you listen to that too?
I did not.
And you know how different countries hire people, and you know, and how they get also skimmed as well, and they keep them almost like prisoners. You know, it's horrible what is happening, you know, to people.
Yeah, a lot of migrant workers were tricked into traveling to countries abroad.
And that's what they're talking about.
They had their passports taken away, and they were forced to participate in these.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a huge issue in society. According to the FBI, I think it was $12.3 billion were stolen from Americans in the year 2023. That number is probably much higher because very few people actually report their scams.
Because they're embarrassed.
They're either embarrassed,
Yeah.
they often might not know they're being scammed, or they just don't know where to go or where to seek resources, because the truth is there aren't a lot of resources out there if you fall victim to one of these scams.
Okay, so we probably have your information, you know, where people can contact you, and you know where they can sign up. That probably, basically, they could contact either the Turner Senior Center and the Ann Arbor Senior Center, and for attending your classes.
Yeah, so the best way to contact us is you can go to our website. It's askkevin.com, so it's ASKEVIN.com, or you're welcome to call the office as well. It's 734-288-8338, and then you're welcome to email me as well. It's james@askkevin.com.
Well, I mean, we're very lucky here in Ann Arbor to have you, and especially, for seniors, because that you do have, a place to get some information, because, technology is sometimes harder for older people to learn, and it's getting so complicated, so I always feel like I'm so grateful, and especially that CTN has such valuable programs for seniors where they give good advice and where they can, also learn a lot. So I'm very helpful. Very lucky that we have those, resources here in Ann Arbor, and we're very lucky when it comes to this. So did I maybe there's certain things maybe I forget to ask you, or what you think would be really very valuable for you? I know you talked about our classes, and anybody who is interested in to attend. We just covered that.
I can talk a little bit about why technology is hard for seniors and
okay, that would be a good idea, because I can learn.
Yeah. So older adults have some unique challenges in our society, right? As we get older, our fingers get a little stiffer, our vision gets weaker, right? And we have some memory changes as well. And those all make it tough to use devices like computers and phones. That's unfortunate because we're asked to do more and more online, more and more with our phone, and more with our computer. And the tough news is that typically those apps and websites we're forced to use are designed by 23-year-old kids living out in California making big bucks who might be unaware of the needs of everyday folks in the world. But at the same time, the technology could be so impactful for seniors. One of my first clients I ever worked with, she was about 82 years old, I think, 82 years old. She was living alone, she was widowed, and she just basically, her life revolved around the Tuesday screenings at the Michigan Theater. Every Tuesday, her and her girlfriends, they'd go downtown for dinner, and then they'd watch the latest movie, and that was like, she counted down the days till Tuesday. Unfortunately, her doctor told her she could no longer drive at night one day, so that meant she could no longer drive from Chelsea to Ann Arbor. So what we did, we got together and we installed the Uber app on her phone, that ride-sharing app. She would have, they had one of those captchas that said, "Are you a robot?" And you had to
Yes, I know those, yeah.
Those are not very senior friendly. But I filled out that, I put in her credit card number, and then we actually went on a practice ride together. We hailed the Uber, went on it together, and we took notes like, this is where we need to tap and this is what we do. And that really, that helped her live a better quality of life, right? She still had that important social connection that she got.
Oh, that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
that's a great idea. So in the future, I might have to do that.
Be ready.
I'm still, able to do it. So, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so actually, I think that really covered most of it. I think, what we wanted to cover here. And I think this really was some great information,
Cool.
and especially just what you mentioned about this lady. And I think maybe you might get some more requests where people need help, So, and I think that's probably all, we kind of did all this. And I think we're so thankful to have you and that, to come and talk to us about this, to help people. And it's not only just seniors. I think other people, have difficulties as well.
We get a lot of busy households that just need us to kind of sort out their home network or their home equipment and just make everything run smoothly. We support a lot of small businesses and nonprofits. Everybody needs some tech help these days, and it's been some of the most fun and impactful work I've gotten to do.
James, thank you so much to come and, and give us your expertise and also all your different information, which are so helpful. And this is, right now, I think this is one of the most important things, because every time you turn around, there's a new device.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to, once you know how to use it, then it's obsolete again.
Yeah,
so you start all over again.
They'll roll out that update to just break that process
I know.
you're used to.
Well,
yeah.
James, thank you so much to come to, talk to us and spend your time. And thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on Senior Moments. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Brigitte Maassen. Happy Easter.